I guess I've been through this journey of like I've done a lot of therapy and realizing like life is really about the perspective that you have of it, right? Like you can tell yourself a story and it really shapes your reality. And so I've started telling myself a better story, which is that I can make different decisions and I can have a better outcome. I'm in like everything today is a result of decisions I made 6 months ago, right? Or what have you, sometimes yesterday.
Does it feel like your IBS and gut symptoms run your life? Like you have to plan travel, workouts, and even social plans around your digestion? I'm really excited to share today's episode and announce our guest, Angela. Angela is a client of mine and a fantastic example of someone who has put in consistent work to improve their digestive health and quality of life over time. She no longer lets the fear of gut symptoms hold her back from things like travel, working out, or her busy social commitments. A little bit of background around Angela. She is a process improvement specialist, writer, and aspiring comedian based in Toronto, Ontario. With over 2 decades of public service experience and a master's degree in innovation, law, and technology, she's made a career out of spotting the gaps that others walk past, such as asking the inconvenient questions, envisioning solutions several steps ahead, and learning whatever it takes to close the distance between how things are and how they should be. When she's not doing any of that, you'll find her on Toronto's waterfront, giving back to the arts and culture community that keeps her grounded, on stage doing stand-up, traveling, or saying yes to the things that scare her a little. Today, we will go through Angela's health journey and what led her to really realize that her IBS symptoms weren't normal and finally reach out for help, the main changes she made with nutrition and lifestyle to help improve her symptoms, key tools she uses now to help her enjoy a busy life full of travel, hobbies, and socializing without worrying about IBS and gut symptoms, plus a fun Would You Rather segment. Let's get into today's episode.
Hey, hello, Angela. Welcome to the show today. I'm very excited to have you on to share more about yourself and also share your journey of breaking free from IBS and gut symptoms while enjoying all the amazing things that you do in your life.
Thank you for having me. I'm excited to be here.
So just for the audience, can you tell us a bit more about yourself and even share maybe what you like to do in your free time when you're not working in public service?
Yeah, absolutely. So I'll talk about my health journey because that's the more interesting part, I think. But I could say I've been on a health journey as long as I've been alive, probably, trying to figure out what works for my body and what doesn't. But I've gotten, I guess now that since I've been in my 40s, I've gotten into this more focused, like understanding of the aging process and the impacts on my body. And I think I've gotten an appreciation. Like, you see those videos of these 80-year-olds doing gymnastics and stuff where they're like on the bars and it's like, or not even 80, they're like 100 or whatever. I watch those and I'm like,
to Shelby those.
Yeah. It's like,
100-year-old runners breaking records.
Right. Yeah. So like if they can do it, why can't I? And like I still have, it's not too late, right? Like that's kind of what I realized. So like I guess I've been through this journey of like I've done a lot of therapy and realizing like life is really about the perspective that you have of it, right? Like you can tell yourself a story and it really shapes your reality. And so I've started telling myself a better story, which is that I'm in control, right? Like I can make different decisions and there will be I can have a better outcome. I'm in like everything today is a result of decisions I made 6 months ago, right? Or what have you, sometimes yesterday. But yeah, so I've shifted with that focus in mind since probably about 2022 when I got like not a great health diagnosis. I was pre-diabetic, obese, high blood pressure, hypertension, probably other things. Anyway, it doesn't matter. I had a whole bunch of stuff, depression, that's been there for a long time. So, and my doctor kind of said, you have to lose weight. And I knew she'd say that because she always said that. And I was like, okay. So anyway, so from there, I started on this journey. I focused on my sleep. I learned a lot about behavioral activation. And then I started like, as I got through like the bigger problems, I started to become more aware of what was going on in my body. And what I noticed was, oh, apparently I have IBS. Like I've just been existing with this. And I like a friend of mine even commented, like we'd go out and then I'd immediately have to go to the bathroom when we went out together and stuff like that. And she was like, that's not normal. And she's the one who triggered for me and said, like, I was talking to someone about what I noticed with you. And she's like, I hope you don't mind. But she's like, I don't, if you think about it, when when that's happening, if you're eating and the food's passing right through you, you're not really holding on to a lot of the nutrients. So I'm actually concerned about your health from that perspective. And so hearing that from her and being on this journey already, I was like, this is something I should look into. And so, like, I guess, like, I'm sorry, I kind of skipped a piece of the thought process there. Like, I kind of dealt with the big things, and then it's like, then you start to really narrow in, and it's like, this is a real thing that's still, happening to me, right? And so I was getting to this place where I could really deal with other discomforts I had just like almost disassociated from, and that was my gut health. And so that is how I got to my journey of even realizing I was existing that way, which was not enjoyable at all. And I think like even having poor sleep back before this, I dealt with my sleep as one of those steps. I just had accepted this was my life. Like, I guess I'm just a person who doesn't sleep. I guess I'm just a person who always has to be near a washroom, and those sorts of things. And I don't even know what's happening. Like, I don't know what I eat. And I'm not in touch with my body. That's just my story, right? Like speaking to that. So I think like there's a lot of little pieces that fell into place that led me here. So by the time I had met you, I was at a place where I recognized there was a problem and I was ready to hear and act on what you had to share with me. And then I just want to say, like, to answer the other part of the question, who am I? So yeah, I work for the public service, blah, blah, blah. 22 years. I've done a whole bunch of jobs there. I have a daughter who is 24, who I raised on my own. So that was very difficult. And part of why I've started focusing on my health too is because now that she's grown up, you start to realize, when you're an empty nester, which is wild, that, oh, like maybe that's part of why I'm not healthy is because I poured all my energy into this other person instead of saving some for myself. So that was another part of my perspective shift was, the whole airplane message of put your mask on first. Like, I don't know how we survived her childhood, but we did. And she's a fully functioning human being, like that I'm so proud of, which is amazing. Like, I'm not going to say despite me, because I obviously did some things right along the way. But yeah, so that's probably, generally who I am. And yeah, so since I guess the other part of like my self-discovery has been just learning what I enjoy doing. I like being silly. So I started doing stand-up comedy, which I'm having so much fun with, and going to guitar lessons because I love music. I'm like trying to learn finger picking and stuff. So I learned, one of the first songs I learned was Dust in the Wind, which is really cool. And what else? Oh, and I volunteer now, which is nice. So yeah, I'm really doing a lot of stuff that brings me joy actually now, which is so nice. And a lot of it is because I don't have to worry about always being near a washroom or like not eat if I know I'm going to do something and that sort of thing. So I've got a lot more freedom to enjoy life. Yeah. Oh yeah, and I've been doing strength training. Thank you very much.
Yeah, you work full time. You're a mother. Yeah, you said your daughter's left the nest, so you're an empty nester now. In addition to that, you have a lot of hobbies: play guitar, stand-up comedy. You work out regularly, as we'll get into. So obviously, living a very full, rich life, which is it's amazing, and I appreciate that background too. You said just evolution of your health journey and where you how you got through things. I guess when did you mentioned a little bit more about being more in tune with your body and how you're feeling. Do you want to just share a little bit more about that or how that
Yeah, so I think like I want to say a few things too. Like one of the things I realized through this journey, and especially like working with you and also working through like dealing with my insomnia, which was just months before we met, what I realized was there's almost this foundational stuff you need to deal with, right? And I had spent all of my life, actually, like my whole adult life, the whole time I was in control of my decisions of, trying to fix the symptom, right? Like, like putting Band-Aids on things like, oh, there's a cut, there's a Band-Aid, right? And looking at things as like broken pieces, which is kind of the way our healthcare system, unfortunately, trains us to think. You don't have to comment on that. Um, so yeah, so I had spent my life, like, oh, I'm obese. I need to lose weight, right? Oh, I have high blood sugar. I need to take medication or, eat more fiber sometimes, whatever I read in the magazines. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, eat less carbs, more whatever, the stuff you read online. But I'd always been, yeah, I have depression. I need to take medication and go to therapy. But what I realized after dealing with my sleep, first of all, sleep is the most important thing. Like after safety and security, like you need good sleep. You absolutely, every human being does. And actually, another thing I started to appreciate was like, oh, all those things I did for my daughter when she was a little girl, especially like a baby and a toddler, with like sleep training, bedtime routines, consistent meal times, balanced meals. Like, why did I do all that stuff for her and not myself? Like, so
I hear that a lot from parents.
right. Like, okay.
Oxygen mask.
Yeah, exactly.
Let's put on your own mask
Yeah,
before on theirs, because you need to be fully functioning in order
yeah,
to take care of someone else.
exactly. So I've learned things in reverse order, is what I'm getting at. I started at the end and worked my way to the beginning. But yeah, I think for me anyway, what I believe and I've come to see is a lot of my issues stemmed from unaddressed trauma, but also related to my gut health. And so at first I thought it was just trauma, so I was very therapy focused. But then as I started reading more and more, learning like, holy, like even having depression is a symptom of like an unbalanced, I never say it right, microbiome, right? Like all of these things like just started piecing together where I was like, oh my God, like, oh, my, like I'd have like my skin wasn't healing, if I hurt myself, and like I said, overweight, fatigue, like just all of these. And I hear a lot of people have a lot of similar symptoms, right? And so it was really like going back to those foundational pieces and realizing like, oh my God, this is where I should have been focusing. Like instead of all this medication and like focusing on yo-yo dieting realistically for like 20 years and all that sort of stuff, I should have not accepted that I'm a person who can never sleep and like it's normal to have to run to the bathroom every time you eat. Like those were really the screaming things my body was telling me that I missed, right? So and I'm sorry, I have a bit of ADHD, so sometimes I forget. Did I answer the question?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay, there you go. Yeah, so that's, I don't know. Yeah. Was that the question?
More about just kind of your transition, or I guess sort of shifted your process and paying more attention to how your body was feeling and kind of the deeper, I guess, driver of the symptoms, rather than just like trying to fix the symptom, but like what's a lot. And I think, yeah, you mentioned maybe becoming more in tune with actually how
Yes.
you're feeling, which sometimes
Yes.
like, yeah, even if you've had a history of maybe yo-yo dieting or just thinking about losing weight from like a calorie perspective, it's very like
Yes.
numbers focused and restricted focused. But
Yes.
would you say
Yes.
that you kind of had shifted
Thank you.
your thought in terms of like
Yes.
behavior, energy, and all that? Yeah.
Yeah. Yes. Thank you for reminding me. Okay. So part of it was, I should make notes while I'm thinking so I don't forget. So part of it was absolutely shifting the focus from the calorie restriction. And I knew that was a problem. Like I'd already realized like dieting is bad. Like, sorry, in my opinion, you can cut that out if that's not appropriate to say, but like calorie restriction is detrimental to your metabolism. That's what I learned. And it's like there's a reason it's called yo-yo dieting, and there's a reason we all have, anyone who's done this calorie restriction, it's not sustainable, and you generally, when you hit that point where you can no longer sustain the practice, you rebound and you gain more weight than you lost. And it's the whole thing about your body in survival mode, and a lot of it's about survival mode actually, right? So getting more in touch with my body started with therapy. And I was doing this therapy that involved connecting, essentially doing a meditative therapy where you're connecting deeply internally and just like sitting with and feeling what's going on in your body. And so through that piece, it was like one of, again, another realization like, oh, I have constant anxiety. Like, I mean, everyone else noticed. I didn't though, because I was totally detached from that reality. So like this, like through this process. And that's the thing where it's like, ooh, like, oh, my stomach doesn't feel great, right? And like, oh, when I eat that thing, like that's not good. And people are telling me that's not normal. So I don't need to live like this. So that was the process of kind of becoming more in tune with my body. And it was not a fast process. I want to be totally transparent. Like none of this happened in a day. This is years of slow transition, like one change at a time. And I mean the steps in the order that ended up working out for me wouldn't necessarily always work for everyone, but like it, yeah, like because I don't want someone to hear it and be like, oh, that's too much work, right? Because I know that's an easy kind of story too to tell yourself. Yeah, so I didn't know where I was going when I started on this journey. It was just kind of like I knew I needed to start losing weight, and part of that involved not calorie counting, but watching what I ate, in the sense of like, because I refused. I was like, I'm not calorie counting. I refuse to restrict myself. I'm not living in a restrictive state. Like that's not. Because I'm in my 40s now. No F's given era. So I'm not restricting. If I don't want to, I'm not doing it. So I was like, but I will watch what I'm eating, right? And so I had started doing a little bit of that, and then when we started working together, like you were so good at. So I think I had stopped, but I had stopped watching in the sense of like putting it into a system or anything, but I was kind of eating a consistent amount of calories, and I'd lost enough weight that I was feeling good about it. Um, and but again, like I still had the IBS, right? And so that's how I found you. Um, and so when we started working together, and you started explaining to me things around like especially the importance of protein and fiber, right? Like that was for me the first foundational piece around my eating, like just understanding first of all, like so when you get into like sleep's dealt with, and now my gut, which is actually more, you know, the source of a lot of these problems I'm experiencing because of the imbalance. Like understanding that increasing my fiber, how like all the little side benefits, right? Like that your body has from it, like lowering your cholesterol. Oh yeah, that was the other thing that was high in 2022 when I, oh, I think it was called metabolic syndrome. I think that's what that kind of collection of things I had was called. Anyway, it doesn't matter.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Like I know there's a word for this. Yeah. So yeah, I think we started with fiber first. Did you want me to talk about our approach and like why that
Yeah,
worked,
well,
or?
let's backtrack a little. So we
Okay.
had,
Okay.
yeah.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. I know. I can
at
go
the
on. Yeah.
beginning, yeah, first you mentioned, yeah, working on the sleep, and then, you did want to work on the metabolic syndrome piece. You have been making adjustments with exercise, and you mentioned eating more protein and like feeling, I guess not restricted with your calories, but you were aware of how much you were eating to support that goal. And then I think we have connected about 2 years ago. So maybe take us back to like what prompted you to reach out at that time, and like what goals were you really working, like hoping to work on with us, working together, specific to that.
So at that point, like I said, I had kind of stabilized or realized I'd kind of bought into this concept of best weight, right? So it's not, there's always these trendy buzz things, but best weight is really the concept is you are happy with how you feel and look, and you are healthy in the sense of like, you get blood work and the numbers are good and those sorts of things. So I felt I had done what I could, and I may that's my description of it. I should be whatever. But I felt I had gotten to my best weight ish at that point. I would like I don't need to be skinny, right? Like I don't have a defined number in my head. It was really like I'm okay with how I look. It's I don't and I'm not hurting myself when I go out in public, and I'm not totally winded and all those sorts of things. So a lot had improved. And like I said, I had worked on my sleep. I had been doing behavioral activation. I did some group therapy, and then I had also done some one-on-one therapy, like CBTI. Um, I don't know. My friends joke like everything I do like 130%. And at the time, I was like a little bit disengaged from work and feeling unappreciated. So I was like, I'm just going to redirect that 130% to my health. So, I know. Don't worry, I still did my job. It's just they didn't get the bonus. Yeah, so I might have overdone it, but I mean, hey, it's my journey. So yeah, I had gone, and I hadn't started actually the kind of internal meditative type of therapy at that point, but I'd done a lot of like the behavioral activation stuff and really had that switch in understanding of like my life is in my control, which seems obvious, but sometimes you forget, right? Like I really, every decision I make has an impact on the future. Like even if I'm not happy with where I am right now, I can change that. It might not happen right away. It can happen though, but it won't happen if I don't make a change. So I'd made that mental shift and I'd had that conversation with my friend about like this isn't normal. Like what you're experiencing and what I'm witnessing is not normal. And so yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. I didn't want to label myself as having IBS. And part of my concern was sometimes it's like there's things that trend, right? And it's like, oh, am I jumping on a bandwagon here? So I started reading a little bit about it, and I was like, no, this definitely describes my experience. Like this is not. I don't think I'm bandwagoning it here. And then I don't even entirely remember how I found you, but the algorithm, like I know I was looking stuff up. Like I was trying to read, trying to understand, I was looking for somebody I could work with who would be able to give me guidance and like who had an understanding of IBS and gut health. But I didn't have a lot. I think my doctor had given me a Post-it that just said Fodmap on it.
Okay. So you did talk to your doctor about.
Yeah, she said, look at Fodmap. And I was like,
which is good.
Yeah.
Just we don't want to just assume based on the symptoms.
Oh,
good to talk.
Yeah. Right. That's right.
You don't want to follow a trend and just self-diagnose.
Exactly.
A medical professional, even if you don't feel like they will be able to help you to the fullest, at least like getting some understanding of what's going on and ruling out anything.
Yes.
That may be serious as well. So.
Exactly. Yeah. So that's right. I forgot that step because I had talked to my doctor about it, and I was like, my friend told me, so I wasn't just Googling. There was also a step in there because I remember her giving me the pink Post-it that said Fodmap, and she was like, I don't know how it works. She's like, but I think like this might be something you want to look into. That was essentially the yeah, so that's how, and then I was like, I was targeting FODMAP specifically, and that is how I found you. And then you had, I think, a webinar where you were answering questions. So it's kind of a free, like, join me and I'll, talk about what I do and, answer any questions. And so I joined that and it just resonated. I was like, okay, like this person absolutely knows what I'm going through. Like at worst, like we can talk and you can tell me it doesn't make, you know what I mean? Like, because again, like you talk, at the health food store, buying my vitamin C or whatever, I get unsolicited advice like you should buy this enzyme, this digestive enzyme, and like I'd be like, okay, lady who works here, thanks, So she was like, and look up, SIBO, and I don't know. She was like, again, all this unsolicited advice, and I was like,
it's a big amount for probiotics.
Yeah.
Probiotics again.
Yeah, exactly.
I love that.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, and she also told me, she was like, and you shouldn't, eat anything with gums in it, and like she was giving me this whole list. I'm like, okay, I don't know. So yeah, I was like, I think I will work with someone who is trained in this, and that's when we ended up connecting. So yeah, that was where I was when I found you. Kind of lost. I knew I needed to, like I said, I kind of hit that point where I was like, I've dealt with a lot of the big things, and I recognized the next step in like my healing relates to my gut health. I didn't at that time yet understand the connection between my gut health though and all of the other symptoms I was feeling. Yeah, so I knew, like it was very, I know now I have IBS. Something named FODMAP might help me, and then there's too much information. Like that was pretty much what I had established before we met, and you seemed to have a very clear understanding of this particular kind of issue. So yeah.
FODMAP is a big undertaking. I mean,
yes.
FODMAP diet, you find all these different lists with different those that are high or low, and all these recipes and things that you eat anymore. I think garlic freaks a lot of people out. Apples, celery.
Yeah, it's wild.
And then you have no idea where to start, and you're also kind of new to thinking about the fact that you do have IBS and all the other ways that you're told to like improve better what you can do about it. So it can be very overwhelming. I know with us working together, I think we identified some areas for improvement, and we built on things over time. I guess, what do you feel, maybe if we think about like top 2 to 3 changes that you feel like were the most impactful to help you feel better? What would you say those would be?
Number one, like for sure, fiber. I feel like, and I know there's no such thing as a quick win, but I think it's a quick early win, right? Like it's something I think it's easier to incorporate than you realize. And that's what I realized working with you. Like I really appreciated your guidance in the way that like you didn't overwhelm me with information because I'm a person who likes and I will absorb and absorb and absorb, but then I'm like, oh my God, there's so much. What do I do with all this? Right. So you seem to understand to like target, right? Like we're, don't worry about everything else right now. Like we're going to start with kind of here's the base we're going to start at, right? So for me, actually even that was a good takeaway, right? Like from working with you, the just like focus on one thing at a time or the reminder, right? Just one thing at a time, one little thing. You don't need to worry about the whole thing yet. Get this under control. And then once this is dealt with, we'll work on the next thing, right? I really loved that about working with you. The food suggestions you gave too, right? So the way that you, first of all, like when going through the whole like Fodmap testing or challenge, like the app that we used to and the training, like everything, the way it all pieced together so that I had like this, okay, here's very clearly what I'm doing this week, like the tools, here's where I record the information, the consistency and the accountability of touching base with you, like all of those pieces were so helpful in keeping me kind of on track and accountable, and making it make sense. Because like I think right before we had started working together, I bought one book that was supposed to be the only book I would need on Fodmap. And I was like, yeah, I can't even, I'm not going to name the title. Yeah, I know. But yeah, I was like, oh my God.
They're serving sentences, but
yeah. Yeah. It was like, cause like everybody has, like you get a recipe book in my experience. And it's like, there's like 3 things you actually like in there that you end up making consistently. That's been my experience. Maybe not, maybe other people do more, but so what I liked about working with you is like, I would tell you like, these are kind of my food preferences. And then you just had great suggestions of things that were like, oh, here's this high protein chickpea pasta. Here's where you can get it. Like, where are you located? Oh, these are some stores to check out. And when I was traveling, you helped with that as well. Like even, oh, here are some internet, like, in the States or whatever. Here's some international options that you might want to look for that are equivalents. Your ability to kind of show me what else is out there beyond, and it's not always in Sobeys or whatever, right? Like, so it's more like broadening my scope of like, where am I going for these options, what's available, and like, and again, like I understood how to read the food labels, but through talking with you, I think that also really helped, the how to prioritize the numbers, right? Like, so looking at, and like, again, for me, when I'm looking at something, the first 2 things I'm always looking at is the fiber content and then the protein content. And of course, that there's no trans fat. And even saturated fat, it's like, it's okay up to a certain point, right? So yeah. So to answer your question, the 3 takeaways: fiber, the how to assess a label for like the best sort of makeup, like a best bang for my buck, I guess is the best way of putting it. And like yeah. And then the recommendations you gave, it was tasty stuff, right? Like I still, even though there's stuff that I was introduced to during the challenge and then it turned out, oh, that's not actually an issue for me. I still keep it in my diet because it's good food. It's like, oh, well, that's still like high protein. So there's like, gluten's not a problem for me, but I don't eat a lot of it anymore because I like a lot of the options that I learned about through you, right? So just because it worked out that way. So yeah. And then the third one that I was going to say, oh shoot, I forgot it. Sorry.
That's okay. No, those are 2 good ones. I'm going to backtrack to fiber, but also the FODMAP challenges. So for those listening, I think most people listening probably do have IBS or they're familiar with the low FODMAP diet, but just for context, like a 3-phase diet. So the first phase is the FODMAP elimination, where you consume only low FODMAP portions of foods to help get symptoms under control. It's usually done at least 2 weeks up to 6 weeks, sometimes a little bit more, depending on what's going on. And then we move to the challenge phase where you test in different FODMAP groups with specific food servings so that you can assess like your individual tolerance to different FODMAPs. And for reference, FODMAPs are fermentable carbs that in IBS or other gut conditions can cause gas, bloating, discomfort. And then once you've done your challenge, the FODMAP challenge phase, you move to phase 3, which is like your personalized low FODMAP diet, where you start adding back in the FODMAP amounts that you were able to tolerate and only like reducing the ones that you did react to. So that also, as I mentioned, like FODMAP diet itself can be quite overwhelming, but I think the challenge phase can be difficult too, because it takes time to like work through those reintroductions. So I think that was a good point you made about just being able to like check in and like kind of see how you were going. And I think having a little bit of accountability along the way. Because would you think that it was it is a bit of a process? I don't know. I have friends that kind of really enjoy it, and then I like
Yeah.
through. But
Yeah, it's a process, right? Like it's also, like I said, my concern going in was because I am a yo-yo diet survivor. We'll call it that, right? Calorie restrictor, former calorie restrictor. My only concern was going in. I didn't want to get into that obsessive kind of like calorie counting, watching, always obsessing over what I was eating. So when we started working together, I understood I'm going to be recording what I eat so you can see it and you can suggest like nutrient adjustments and stuff. So that was another side benefit of working with you that I didn't even realize I'd get. But yeah, so we talked about my concerns actually, and you helped me kind of reframe that even, right? Again, it's about perspective. I don't need to be obsessive just because I was in the past. Like I'm just recording food. It's just information, like, oh crap, sorry, I just forgot my train of thought again. This is like high perimenopause. Who's throw an ad in for that?
Like not be having obsessed about the results of the challenges.
Yes, sorry, yes, because you're asking if it was difficult. Yeah, so it was. I think because I had that reframe going in of like this is a data collection process. It's only for a set period of time, and like understanding this is a time limited thing, right? Like we're just doing it to collect this data, and then once the data collection's done, like we go back to normal, whatever normal is. The other thing I just remembered too, because we were doing this over the summer and I was traveling. What I liked too was it was flexible. So when you said like it could be 2 to 6 weeks, like it wasn't like the whole entire window of time I was doing the challenge, right? So you worked with me in a way where I could be flexible and like, okay, for these 3 days, I'm doing a challenge on this thing. And then once that's done, okay, I'm going to be traveling for the weekend. So I'm going to ease up a little bit, and we'd plan accordingly. And then the next challenge we kind of enter into after, if I maybe had a few too many glasses of wine or something on the weekend, we'd adjust accordingly. So yeah, so it was, I think the idea of going into it was daunting is the answer. But once I started doing it and I realized again, you don't have to do everything perfectly. And more self-talk, right? That it was very feasible to go through it, and it wasn't as it didn't have as much of an impact on my life and like my lifestyle as I was worried it would, I guess, going in, if that makes sense.
Yeah, and a good reminder too, like I think it needs to be that way because we don't want to live in like a bubble where we're just filtered and we can't go out and we never go out for meals and everything has to be controlled. I think that can happen sometimes when people have IBS, but it's not the way that is ideal or optimal, because also that it can kind of worsen our quality of life and contribute mood issues, and like our social health is important for our overall health too, right? So I think being able, like we said, enjoy like traveling and going out with friends and all those other aspects, I think that keeps you healthy as a person, and I think avoiding those won't be better off for you in the long term. So yeah, with the FODMAP challenges, there's some adjustments you have to make, but I think it also needs to be flexible so that you can get it done but still enjoy. Yeah. So that was a good night. I'm glad you got that.
Yeah, no problem.
Back to the fiber, I guess.
Yeah.
Yeah. Why don't you share maybe a couple of your favorite fiber sources, and then two-part question. What,
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
what changes did you notice from eating more fiber? Because I think that's a good one too. A lot of people are hesitant to add more.
Yeah,
Maybe
yeah.
you were then too, but yeah. Well,
Yeah, no problem. I might be a secret nerd. I don't know. Um, no, okay. So my like when I had met you, one of the things I had started doing as a habit was eating overnight oats. So I was making overnight oats fairly consistently. And I shared my recipe with you, and you gave me some suggestions on how to alter it a little bit, again, based on my preferences. So, like, oh, if that's what you like, you can try this. I think I was using this synthetic type of sugar thing. It wasn't stevia, and I know that's not synthetic. It was anyway. It doesn't matter. And you raised some concerns with it with me, and like we talked about it, and because I was like, I can't have any sugar, I can't have honey, and you're like, there's nothing wrong with honey. So I'd like made little adjustments to it based on our recommendation, which ended up leading to adding some egg white protein that was FODMAP friendly, as well as I think I had also added some chia and some hemp seeds. So a few extra things that essentially made my overnights. And then I was only putting raspberries. I think I had added blueberries. So there was some extra antioxidants and some more fiber. And so what I ended up with was this recipe that it's evolved like through, again, Googling, and then ultimately with us working together to my breakfast essentially being this really filling overnight oat that has something like 23 grams of fiber and then 30 grams of protein, which probably sounds insane. I don't know, but it's tasty, it's easy. And I know also, again, working with you, it's not like I just went from like 3 grams a day or whatever, I mean, I wasn't quite that low, but I was probably somewhere around like 10 to 12 a day, which I think is around where most people land. And we're supposed to be around 25. So you helped me get there gradually. It's not like we went from 12 to 25 or 23 in a day, So, but then it got so easy when I was tracking. I think there were days like almost consistently where I was at like between 45 and 60 grams of fiber, and I wasn't even trying. So, and it was just like it was like those things, like I said, like those minor adjustments you suggested to me, right? So in the overnight oats, I mean, the recipes, I mean, you can find them online, right? But it has oatmeal, which has a lot of fiber. The seeds I mentioned have fiber. The berries have fiber. So, and we added a little bit of that fiber 4. So that was another little boost, right? So all of those pieces, even I think the oat milk has a bit of fiber, right? So it's just like all those little pieces. So it's like this super breakfast that I'm having every day. And the best part was, because I am not a morning person, and they're called overnight oats. So you make them the night before. I was always so happy with myself in the morning when I just had breakfast and it was like healthy and I didn't have to think. So I just get up and I'd be like, thank you yesterday, Ange. I'm so glad you did this for me. But yeah, and then like the other things were like, I told you like, I'm not really big on pasta. And then you suggested the chickpea pasta, and even that had fiber in it. And I think when we tried the Foddy sauces, those had fiber, right? And I still use those. They're so tasty. And because garlic was one of the things that it turned out was an issue for me. So yeah, so like it's just these things that you were like, oh well, if you like that, try this. This product, you might like this product, and like all those little tiny tweaks that, again, like it wasn't all at once. It just sort of happened through conversation, and each session there was a little build, and I was like, oh, why don't you try this product? And if I liked it, it just kind of stayed in the diet, right? And like I said, at some point, all of a sudden, I just looked and I was like, oh my god, yeah, like I'd add like my toast was high fiber, like, but yeah, it was just that, and everything's tasty. And then I'd be, of course, then you turn into that annoying relative where you're like with your dad and like, Dad, no, you got to try it. It's healthy, but it's really tasty. Like, trust me, I know there's no steak in there, but you like it. So even my dad, who is like the stereotypical boomer steak and potatoes guy, like likes a lot of this food. So and has increased his fiber as well. So yeah, that's kind of like the fiber journey. But so in terms of benefits, I remember you asked that as well. So that was kind of the sources piece. The benefits, massive improvement on my cholesterol. Like I've got pristine numbers. My triglycerides are the lowest, have been the lowest they've been since I started having them checked, since I started working with you. And this is like the other thing, like I met you and started working with you because of gassiness and IBS. Like those were initially, right? Like I'm not saying that's what I thought when we started working together. And then when I started seeing my blood work come back and I was like, oh my God, like my sugar is stabilizing. My cholesterol continues to drop where it needs to drop and go up where it needs to go up, right? Like everything was just like, I literally, like, there is not a single low or high on any of my blood work markers anymore since I've made these adjustments. And that was to me, and again, I know it wasn't just, there were the omegas as well, right? Like I know those helped as well, but it's yeah, like again, like you just don't, I didn't realize what an impact these little changes would make to my overall well-being, and like how notably you could see it. And like no medication, right? Like we obviously you don't prescribe, right? So yeah, like to see everything kind of shift in the way that it needed to on my blood work was really like the biggest surprise outcome of all of it, because I honestly did not expect that. I really was just like, please help me not have to go to the bathroom instantly after I eat breakfast every time I go out with my friends or whatever, right? So yeah, so for me that was the biggest surprise kind of outcome. And I know it's not all just the fiber, but I think that was a massive part of those changes, or was part of the major impact. And then of course appetite control, right? Like with the fiber, like the combination of the two really, like, and again, starting my day off with that good breakfast, again, I think it just kind of like sets your sugar for the day. So you're not having those sugar spikes and then you're having those cravings. Like my daily chocolate habits, those subsided. They're not every day anymore, you know. I'm not saying I don't eat chocolate, but
I think again, yeah, and message there too. It's just finding something that works for you. You're able to repeat it every day. I'm not saying you have to do the same breakfast every day, but you found something that works, that was easy to make, and then add those like boosters and optimizations so that you could get a head start on your target and get that in. And then you also explored like other fiber sources throughout the day as well. Yeah, just kind of overarching, I think a reason for your success in feeling better too is that you were very open to trying stuff out and seeing
yeah,
the results, but very much kind of took the information, went away, tried it out, and then reported back on how it went, which is important too when you're working on like your health. You're working with someone that you need to be able to like do a little bit of work on your own and also like give things time to see how they're working, and then for back on what worked or what maybe, you know, we need to adjust to make it more realistic for you. So I think that, yeah, for true. In your favor that you went 130 steps.
yeah, you know, you don't have to do it that way.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Let's say even like, yeah, people can like be, you know, aiming for at least 80% consistent effort. Usually gets you good outcomes, but yeah, you need more, that's amazing. So yeah, feedback in your case though you were, yeah.
No, and I was going to say the ability to, like, it's not like you're available in the middle of the night, and I wouldn't expect you to be, but like you were available a chat away, right? So like you were very responsive. I could always send you a message if something wasn't working out or if I didn't understand something, and I'd always get a message back relatively you know, again, like within business hours. I'd never ask you to work at the middle of the night, but yeah. So I really appreciate that as well. Like just the like, am I doing this right? Or like, you know, that sort of thing. And the other thing I remembered too that you introduced me to was the enzymes. So it was like, which was also extremely helpful, right? So like with traveling, and like not that, you know, I rely on those exclusively, but just knowing I have this option as a back pocket, like I'm at a restaurant, especially because one of my core, you know, I can't remember this is the problem. I don't remember the word, but I have an issue with garlic. Right. So one of my core issues is with garlic, which is basically in everything. So if I'm not cooking or with a friend who is mindful and, you know, wants to be accommodating, it's just easier to have the enzymes if I'm out, right? Rather than being like, do you mind cooking an entire meal without garlic? Like, you know, even though your kitchen's probably smothered in it. Like, so that was another really helpful piece of information to walk away with as well, just to have that.
Yeah, okay. Yeah. In addition to using the enzymes, would you say that there's anything else, or what other tools do you have to kind of help you like travel and enjoy your hobbies, stand-up comedy?
Yeah.
Like worrying about IBS
Yeah.
symptoms or that
Yeah.
control you?
So the like so most of it is planning. I would say the foundation is planning. So and the awareness, right? So now that I know exactly what my triggers are, it's so easy to plan ahead and it's easy to convey it to people. So like I said, in the kind of worst case, this is way too difficult. There's like 10 of us out. I'm not going to be the complicated person. I will bring the enzyme and I'm not going to bother. Don't worry about it, guys. I don't have an issue, right? And it works. So oh, and I have a story related to that. Anyway, um, so in terms of tools like traveling and just when I'm going out, so the Foddy, like I like the Foddy product line that you introduced me to. So if I know I'm going out, I have a little tiny Tupperware that I'll put like a little bit of my Foddy dressing in advance. Um, I do try. I mean, this is just a good practice I found for myself who, in this economy to try and make my own meals and pre-plan lunches and bring them with me, right? So as much as possible, if I'm not completely, running out the door, unplanning, having an unplanned full day, I'll try to make my own lunch and my own meals and stuff, knowing where I can go and like those quick meals that, oh, this is actually a safe place to grab something if I do need to grab something. So it's those sorts of things. Like it really does come down to planning, but like I think having gone through the process, like that is what it is. It's like it's hit the point now because like you said, we started working together or we worked together. Yeah, started working together about 2 years ago, almost 2 years ago, right? And so it's become natural now, right? Like it's just like this is the product I buy. So I don't have to think, oh, is this sometimes I forget, right? Oh, right. I better read the label and make sure there's not garlic in this mustard or whatever it is, right? So, but yeah, my story was, I think it was last summer, my sister and I booked a cottage with the kids and she made sausages and I just like here's the thing, like now I'm just so comfortable most of the time I'm in control of my food. Everything's kind of just I don't even realize I've adjusted in this way, right? Like I just do it automatically is what I'm trying to say. So sometimes I forget, oh, that's right, I have to garlic still bothers me. It's really the worst thing for me. So she made some sausages and I ate one and then I immediately got up and went to the bathroom and I was like, was there garlic in those sausages? And she's like, oh yeah, they were garlic parmesan.
Oh,
I'm like, okay, well, body's still not happy with garlic, so noted. Which was a really interesting test, or not even test, but like, right? Like, because I know when we talked to you, you said after a time you can always do another challenge and see if the same things affect you in the same way. And we hadn't really done that sort of like, let's test if this is still a problem. And part of the reason was like, it's been such a lifelong problem. I'm like, I'm sure it's always going to be a problem. And I think my grandmother actually had a similar issue because she avoided garlic, but we used to make fun of her. So now, sorry, Grandma. Sorry, Omi. um, yeah. So anyway, what did I answer the question? Oh, the tools. Yeah, the tools mostly are planning. So yeah, knowing the foods that are good, remembering to read those labels, the ingredients in the label on the label list. And then, yeah, when I'm traveling, you gave me so many resources. I've saved everything you shared with me. I've got a whole gut health folder in my Google Drive. So if I know I'm traveling before I go, again, it really comes down to planning, right? So taking a look at, where can I find these types of products there and that sort of thing. So I can, again, set myself up for success. Yeah. Yeah. And then again, the enzymes, have those on hand as the kind of ultimate fallback. And communicating and like, my sister just forgot obviously that time. I don't hold that against her anymore. But yeah, letting people know, if we're doing group meals, here's something to keep in mind. But yeah.
I think, you have a calmness and a confidence about it. Just like, okay, I have the tools in place.
Yeah.
Planning ahead and like this will help me feel good.
Yeah.
And like you said, even at the beginning, feeling in like you have the ability to change things or change the outcome.
Yeah.
And have that control. So I think that helps as well because mindset too, if we're like stressed, we're anxious about how things are going to go, or
yes.
how that it's not going to go well, then
of course it won't.
It becomes a reality. So I think
mindset
too.
I also remember like like, yeah, you had so many great resources. One of them was the like the snack list, right? So it's like, here's some easy snacks. Like I still have the popcorn you suggested, and it's funny because I see it. I don't even eat it that often, but like if I ever feel like having popcorn, there's a great one I already have in my cupboard. That was on that list. Like so yeah, it was like, but like I said, it's become so now it's just second nature. Like this is that product that I get, right? Instead of getting this type of milk, I get this type or what have you. I mean, I know there's no garlic in milk, but like I said, some of the stuff that we ended up introducing through working together, I just liked it so much. I was like, oh, I'm just going to stick with this. So, yeah.
And then, yeah, I know in the last year you've also been crushing it at gym and really working on your strengths and your fitness. So, yeah, share a bit more about that. And then maybe if you have like a couple tidbits of your feeling to help you feel good at the gym.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Grateful.
Yeah. Oh, yes, I do. Thank you. Yeah, that was actually I think one of the last kind of gifts you gave me when at the end, one of the last like coaching things you gave me. So, yes, I even talking to you, I was like, I know I need to do strength training, right? Like being in your 40s, I swear that message is just like pounded in your head. And of course, longevity, if I'm going to be the 112-year-old gymnast, I got to be strong. So, so we had been talking about gym training, and I'm like, I was like, I don't want to be in a place where people are like, oh, you got this. I don't know. And you suggested a really great local group of women who do like group personal training, which it's fantastic. I love it so much. I don't know if it's okay to name them or anyway.
Sure.
Yeah, it's called All Day Fit. They're phenomenal. Like it's a nice community. It feels really good to be around everybody there. Like you go and it's just a bunch of normal people. I'm sorry, I'm not saying everybody else is not normal. It just, they're not there trying to like be better than other people. They're just there to be the best versions of themselves. I guess that's kind of what I was looking for. I hope you can cut that out if that's too mean. But so yeah, so like I found it was a welcoming community. Everybody was kind of like in a similar kind of place that I'm in or I was in. And what I loved about it, because it's group personal training, you get the personal attention, but it's also a group. So there's this like cool community vibe. You get to meet new people. And also the cost is less prohibitive. Yeah, like it's not as expensive as personal training, right? So you're kind of getting the best of both worlds. And it's very much strength focused, right? So it's also, because it's personal training, you have a personal plan. So the first time I went in, I had an hour assessment with Cassie, the owner. And like she basically like had me do all these tests, to figure out where all my strengths and weaknesses were. And like, my glutes and my core is just generally, it was neglected. So we did this whole assessment, and then she wrote a plan for me based on where I needed to target first. And then they're really good, similar to working with you, right? At like progressive growth, right, in the process. So like, recognizing like, Angela, you could probably lift more than 12 pounds or whatever, right? Like kind of challenging me and calling me out on like where I was maybe babying myself a little, or like, I don't know if I can. And so I think by like December, I was bench pressing, which I've never done in my life. I think I was doing 70 pounds, which is one of the pictures I sent you. I think that's 70. I can't remember. I think it was 70. Or 65 anyway, which is a lot. I think it's a lot. Like I was kind of joking. I was like, hey guys, I bench 65 or whatever. I don't know. But it was like, I know I've never done that kind of strength work. I've always wanted to. So being able to like understand and target exactly what my body needed, like I helped when I started working with them. I had issues because I had a kid in 2001. When the internet was not really a thing, like it existed, but I'd love to tell people like we made fun of people who had websites in 2001, like we're like, who does this guy think he is? So it's not where you went for information is my point. So when I had my daughter, there wasn't like a lot of information on Kegels. So I like had no pelvic floor after, even though I had her a decade or 7 decades ago, I don't know anymore, 2001, whenever that was. And I talked to them. I was like, I don't jump. Like, I don't jump. I don't skip. Like, my feet stay on the ground. And they were like, well, that's not okay. And not in a like condescending way, but like that's that doesn't sound like a nice way to live, that sort of thing. And they helped me address that. So it's like, and when I talk about like this journey of like, fixing the next thing, like, because I had done so much work with you, like at that point, like that's when I was had started getting those, like, I'm not going to call them perfect, but very, very good, like nothing wrong, like perfect maybe, right? Like nothing's perfect. That's why I don't want to say it, but like really great blood work results. And so it was just kind of that was for me the last missing piece. And like, because it was this community where, that you start to know the people, like you want to show up, right? Like it's not even the workout, it's both things. It's like, oh, I'm going to go see Jess or whatever. And Tina, like, or Tiff, like, so yeah, like, who you're going to see. And I don't know, it's such a nice community and like you have fun, like you're silly, you joke, like you get to make fun of like not wanting to work out, but you're all still doing it. Like, so it ended up being so easy. And like, yeah, like, and it's anyway, I won't go into it beyond that, but I love, yeah,
strength training for a while.
yeah,
That made me change just how
my
you felt
physique,
physically. Did
yeah,
it impact your gut at all? Like doing more
yeah,
strength?
yeah. Oh yeah, so yeah, and then the breakfast, or not the breakfast, but the pre-workout kind of drink that you suggested. So yeah, no, it was incredible. Like so I feel like I love how I look, first of all. Like I like how I look strong. I am like people would see me and be like, "Oh my God, are you working out?" Like they would see it after not seeing me for a couple months, which was a great feeling. Not why I was doing it, but just like knowing, oh, like it's not just me. Like this is actually having an impact. And yeah, my sleep improved, of course. That's always, a side benefit because, sleep can always be better. And then, yeah, when I talked to you about like the pre-fueling, you gave me a great shake. You gave me some options again. You're like, oh, if you don't like this, like, but here's generally like get something where you got this many carbs and this much protein and like, and and again, because I, don't always do things in the right order. I realized I talked to you about it. I was like, is it okay if I make it like a day before and put it in the fridge? And you were like, yeah, just get a shaker mug. And so I did that. And now that's the thing, right? It's like, oh, I work out tomorrow, blend the drink, get it ready. And I'm going to throw it in throw it in the fridge. So I've got it for tomorrow. Yeah. And then like, I think, yeah, it was taken an hour before. So drink it an hour before the workout, hop on, I'm not hopping on the bike right now, but, hop on the bike down there and then do my workout, which was perfect. So yeah, it's like the whole, and it fit very nicely. It fits very nicely into the whole schedule, right? Like doing all of it. So
You said you just feel stronger and feel, I mean, strength training helps so many things. So
yes.
That,
and my knees. And my knees. That was the other thing. I was like, when I would walk up and down the stairs, I was like, my knees were hurting. And like literally I was like, what am I, a little old lady? What is this? So yeah. So yeah, because of that, like again, when I did the one-on-one assessment with Cassie, like they gave me focused workouts. They even got me to see a physiotherapist. Like I got a free session to meet her and got some more specific workouts from her. And then she was communicating with my coach, Amy, and they were modifying my workouts based on that. So like my quads and my core and like, yeah, no, I'm so much stronger. Like I was doing these workouts like that I never thought I'd be able to do. We were doing sit-ups where they're called banded sit-ups, where you have a band to make it harder for yourself, basically around the top of your chest that you're holding on to while doing a sit up with your feet, with weights on your feet, so you can't lift your feet, right? So it is really your core that you're using. And I was like, oh my God, like, is it weird that this is easy? Like, am I doing it wrong? And Cassie was like, no, like, oh my God, I'm stronger. And again, because of the pelvic floor stuff, right? Like so this was again, like the core strength was so important. Yeah, I know. I'm like, who am I? Yeah.
Yeah. It sounds like you uncovered other things too, pelvic floor, which we won't get too far into.
Yeah.
We got stuff on pelvic floor too, but
nice. Yeah.
Well, and yeah, same thing with the gut symptoms that can hold you back from like engaging in more exercise. But I think, it's good that you found like a community group that you feel comfortable with, you're feeling well, and that's also helped you to be more consistent with the training too. So good.
No, that was it too. And that was the thing, like I knew I knew I needed to pre-fuel, but having that like my recipe that I could kind of like target myself and like yeah, and I love it. Like it's tasty. Like it's got some dates in it. I used chocolate oat milk because it still fit the whole profile, and I was like, yeah, this is yummy. I have no problem drinking this. It's a treat, and then I get to go work out, and so yeah, no, it all comes together very nicely. Yeah.
Cool. Um, well, let's play a quick game of Would You Rather, and then we'll do a little wrap up with
Okay.
I don't know sharing
I know.
lots of are you ready for this? I don't know if you
Mm,
read it ahead of
I
time,
have.
but
Yeah. Yeah.
okay. So I
I
have
have.
the first one is would you rather never have IBS symptoms again, but have to eat the same meal for breakfast, lunch, and dinner for the rest of your life? Or have monthly IBS flare-ups, but you get to eat whatever you want.
I would rather have monthly IBS flare-ups. Yeah. Yeah, I think I would rather have monthly IBS flare-ups. I'm like, let me think about that. Yeah, I mean, yeah, not for the rest of my life. Like I could do it for a little while, but eating the same thing every day. Like even with the overnight oats, I know that's my go-to breakfast, but it isn't what I eat every day either, right? Like sometimes I'll have a fiber cereal and add some, whatever they call the buds, the all brand buds and, stuff like that. But anyway, yeah, we need variety.
You like routine, but you also want to have some
Yeah,
flex. Yeah.
exactly. Exactly.
Like, and then would you rather give up coffee or give up tea to have a symptom-free gut?
So interestingly, I did give up coffee,
Oh.
and I replaced it with a tea, which I did not realize. I'm not a big tea fan. Um, so I realized coffee is actually. I know this is another thing you taught me too, that I should not be drinking coffee on an empty stomach. So I learned further that actually caffeine in general is also a problem for me. So not just from the whole like agitation, adding to distraction and keeping my cortisol high, all that other stuff, but I started just drinking decaf, and I accidentally once recently forgot to say decaf when I ordered my coffee, and my stomach was instantly upset with me. And I had
Oh.
no idea. Yeah, and it was literally the first time. I just stopped drinking caffeine because I thought, well, it's probably not great for me anyway if it's doing all these other things. So I like I said, I replaced it with a dandelion tea that's really tasty and hits the spot anyway. So yeah, I'm okay without coffee and tea actually. Well,
If you
not tea.
coffee,
Yeah,
you're
I'm
right.
okay without coffee. Well,
Yeah.
without caffeine, I think is more the answer I'm giving you. Yeah. Yeah. I still like the taste of coffee, but yeah. I
Okay.
think for this one it's an easy one. For surprisingly, because I'm like a person, I had coffee every single day. So it's not like I'm just
And that
I don't yeah, yeah.
goes back to those, individual gut triggers though. Like there are people who can tolerate coffee just fine. So for those listeners, they can still enjoy
Oh
coffee.
yeah.
It
Yeah,
was
and not
right
yeah.
for, but
Yes, I am absolutely not saying that everybody should give up coffee. I am only saying I was surprised I wouldn't have believed it actually. I really didn't think that I would do that. So it was a surprising change that happened. Yeah. Yeah.
indeed. And then the
Yeah.
last, would you rather have to drink a pre-made healthy smoothie every day for breakfast or always have to prepare your own breakfast yourself?
Ooh. Ooh.
You can never go out for breakfast again. It's not doubling down again, but
Well, then, if that's the choice, no, I will. I need to go out for breakfast. Yeah, I'm okay preparing my own breakfast if I have to. But if I could throw an option three in there, I'd love to be a millionaire and have someone do it for me. Like that'd be great. So
good chef.
I just want a personal chef. Is that an option?
Cool. Yeah, and just to wrap things up, I guess what made you say to anyone listening or watching,
Yeah.
this video and thought, maybe feeling still fearful or anxious about their IBS or gut symptoms holding them back from enjoying life. Do you have any final thoughts or?
Yeah, I guess like one thing it's maybe implicit, but I didn't explicitly say is like
Mhm.
I like this worked, right? I guess you wouldn't be interviewing me if it didn't. So like the whole thing with like I forget, right? Like it's like I forget that this was an issue until suddenly it is again. Like the whole thing with the coffee a few weeks ago, where I was like, oh, okay, like I weird, right? So it's possible. I would just say it's possible. It is actually possible to deal with these symptoms you're living with. It's
Yeah.
complex. Your body's complex. There's not one solution, definitely, that fits for everyone. I know I talked about my journey, and there's probably a lot of commonalities for a lot of people. Um, but I would say the most important thing, and like I said, even just working with you, is that not being overwhelmed by all of the information that's out there, like, and just you got to pick the first step and focus on that until that becomes the normal, right? And then start thinking about the next step. So it's like that whole concept of 1% better. It really does make a difference, right? So I think for me that's been the biggest shift outside of just like I said at the very beginning of like I'm in control of my future and my decisions are going to lead to the outcomes that I have, right? So it's I'm in control and I don't need to do everything at once. Um, and I'm going to live to be 112 anyway, so I've got a lot of time. So, you know?
Awesome.
Yeah,
Yeah, it takes time too, right? Like it's been a, several year long health journey and start out
exactly.
wins,
Yeah,
which sometimes that like, it sounds like it's going to take a really long time, but that's the way
yeah,
that it is. And we continue to evolve and learn more. But
yeah,
you start today, then, in 6 months or a year, you'll be thankful that you did your
yeah,
changes. So, yeah.
yeah. And the time's going by anyway, right? Like,
Right.
so
Yeah,
it's going to be tomorrow before you know it.
exactly. It's
So,
not
yeah,
work towards getting better, but
yeah,
yeah. You, Angela,
yeah,
I think it's very, inspiring. I really appreciate you sharing about your journey. And as I mentioned, you are living a very full life. We didn't talk too much about your stand-up
yeah,
comedy, but
yeah,
that's a part of the journey.
yeah,
And
yeah.
all this stuff. So I'm really glad that you came on today and shared
Yeah, thank
with us.
you. Yeah, this is yeah, no, I really like if I can help other people even a little bit to feel like hopeful that there really is hope, right? And there are other solutions out there. So I hope my story inspires someone in some way. I'm very happy to share. And I did give you the link if you want to put it, if you want to share with people for my one stand-up routine that I
I was going to
recorded.
do that.
So
I didn't really sure this now wants to watch those. Yeah,
yeah,
it was very fun in my.
yeah. Thank you.
But yeah, I can guarantee there's at least one person listening will be inspired by this. So thank you again.
Oh
Yeah,
yay.
very
Yeah, awesome.
oh, teamwork.
Yeah, no problem.
All right, well, there you go. It's
Yeah, thank
great,
you.
and we'll talk soon.
Okay, have a great
Bye.
day. Thank you.